Welcome back, everyone, to Hearthstone Grandmasters for the Americas. Sorry for the long break as we were trying to track down justsaiyan. Looks like we found him and avoided a DQ situation. Would be just, unfortunate given that he is a player that wants to improve to Division A. And so, we are ready to go. I believe he is in front of his PC and ready to get this action underway, as we are going to have a Malygos Druid go up against that Highlander Priest. If you look at the win rates this week, it looks like it's relatively even in terms of those win rates as classes. Priest being the slightly above 50% win rate, and the Priest being the slightly below 50% win rate, as we're jumping straight into game number one here, TJ.
Yeah, Priest just seems like overall the better deck, but Druid, the Malygos Druid does have some solid game against Priest, just because you can go over the top. It doesn't necessarily matter how much they're controlling the board and killing your stuff if you could just assemble the combo and kill them right back. So I do think that, like, on paper, I would give the advantage to justsaiyan, but there's a lot of things that Priest can do to disrupt. A timely Mindrender or Lucia, some good tempo in the early game, a good tempo swing with, like, the Cabal Acolyte and Wave of Apathy to steal something big. There's also a built-in failure rate of the Druid deck, especially Saiyan, who's running a light beast package. Guardian Animals can sometimes be a dead draw later on in the game if you've drawn all your beasts, which Saiyan only runs 4. So, just a couple things to note.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see if those small different deck building decisions ended up being exactly what he needs. So, excuse me, as I had to very quickly start down my lunch, TJ. I'm trying not to have hiccups on broadcast during that break. Bloodyface is going to go to Wild Growth on turn 3 after this Zephyrus, just to keep the ramp parity on par. And we've talked a little bit about how Priest does have the removal options for Druid and can even find ways to disrupt them, but having that ramp stay even with them is really important, so that way they don't climb too far ahead, and as a result, you're just behind on mana. We'll see if Bloodyface's Thought will get anything super impactful here. Does not look to be the case. Man Lazul reveals what he kind of already suspected. Guardian Animals is in the hand, although he doesn't know that Saiyan had just drawn that.
Yeah. But can pick up a swipe. Maybe the second swipe will help him be able to clean up some of this early stuff. Also, double a Nubisat the better in the hand for Saiyan. That's actually a great... Oh, I was going to say a great way to unload the hand to make way for overflow, but honestly, with 2 Twilight Runners, he's almost never going to have space to play this overflow if he doesn't find a bunch of stuff to be able to dump out of his hand. So, I don't know if there's merit to not attacking here, just because... there is a Shadow Word Ruin in the primary lives from Bloodyface, and you don't want to pull these Twilight Runners out of the deck and then just not attack with them and get Shadow Word Ruined immediately.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I think 1 defender, definitely something that you can play here. 2 defenders, probably the way to go here, just to at least start to pressure. And maybe there's ways for you to win the game even without having the Malygos combo, because I think a lot of times Priest is going to be looking for that disruption. Just so happened to be pretty nice for Bloodyface as a way to swipe and clear.
Yeah. I don't see any reason not to play the second Anubisat, just because there's no survival of the fittest. There's not even any, like, nature studies. There's no, like, better timing than early in the game to force the Priest off of a tempo game plan. So, but he needs 2 turns to be able to swipe these down. I mean, at least he can take off the Twilight Runners, which are posing a pretty big threat.
What do you think about Mind Flayer, a Twilight Runner, and then swipe?
Okay, yeah, I don't mind that. You could also just Mind Flayer and then Breath of the Infinite. Allows him to hold on to
it is kind of interesting to see how Bloodyface wants to go about this, but I'm pretty sure he probably feels like he needs to get to his Mindrender Lucia as soon as possible, so I like the ability to draw cards. He has Zephyrus in hand, so he has pretty much, one of those nuke buttons to reset the board if he needs to. And even got some burst in the hand, right? Like 2 swipes is 8 damage. Zephyrus can find extra damage. Madame Lazul can also find more damage. Maybe Bloodyface has a way to actually do this against Saiyan, who's drawn his teacher's pet, and it doesn't seem like he has too many better things to do here.
Yeah.
Maximum tempo, dump the hand, prepare for the overflow.
Problem with the overflow next turn is that he can't dump enough cards. They only have 7 mana next turn. The overloaded mana crystals from Lightning Bloom. So he's still... Ooh! So he... Bloodyface knows the swipe, obviously, because he has 2 swipes. He saw Guardian Animals, which was played, and he also saw... What was the third card? Yeah, I was trying to think what the third card was he saw with the Madame Lazul. The first one that he played. He saw Swipe Guardian Animals and Moonfire?
I don't think so. I don't. Either way, he's in a pretty good spot to find a way to disrupt it, right? And he knows that the overload and the overflow afterwards, he would be a time for him to consider it. Is there a certain number of cards remaining in the deck where you feel like Mindrender Lucia has to be played at that point, besides of course 0 or 1?
Yeah, he did see Moonfire.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because he knows that those 2 cards in hand, I think he can honestly feel free to pull the trigger on Mindrender ASAP. As soon as he knows that those 2 specific cards are going to give him a lot of value. Because dumping those cards...
Look at the damage that Bloodyface is also racking up. He's got 2 swipes, or 3 swipes, Shadow Madness, Zephyrus. Shadow Madness and Zephyrus also has this really fun dynamic where you can get past a taunt and then use it to immediately attack face if you play Zephyrus. There's some spicy stuff going on in Bloodyface's hand.
Yeah, the limitation is mana.
Right. How can he manipulate it? Yeah. And then over on Saiyan's end, how long does he wait to pull the trigger on cards like Overflow, but he doesn't really want to overdraw?
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. The weakness of, my perceived weakness of Saiyan's deck is he's light on beasts. If he draws 1 beast, then one of his guardian animals is dead or close to dead, because he only plays 4. So that guardian animal is completely dead. It's a 7-mana card that's going to sit in his hand doing nothing.
Sure. Looks like he's just going to dump the crystal power at least, though, even though guardian animal sits dead in the hand. What else can he really do here to burst? He's not playing the Geppetto Joy Buzz variant to try and spike a crazy high damage combination. Seems like overall it's just kind of like Malaghost as a top-end finisher, but has a few different ways to get that damage combo going with Forest Warden Omu as well as Germination.
Oh.
Is this the turn? Is this a turn for big damage here from Bloodyface? Is he going to go for the Mindrender? He starts off with the coin. Usually...
Yeah, I don't know. Swipe, then... Shadow Madness? The coin is so he has hand space. Because he wants to draw with Twilight Run. But I don't know what his follow-up here is. Nothing.
If you play the Zephyrs, doesn't it offer you Van Cleave? Yeah, and you can play his Penance afterwards. Okay. Fully reasonable.
Yeah. Oh, Mukla!
Wow. King Mukla pops out the other end. Very nice pickup for Saiyan also with the Ysera Unleashed. He's pretty close to the end of his deck too, and I don't think you necessarily want Ysera Unleashed to just summon the 7 dragons immediately. So it could be a turn where he chooses to play that and say use Crystal Power to remove the Twilight Runner.
Yeah. Could also go Alexstrasza.
Ooh, okay.
Alexstrasza, Crystal Power, and then push 5, put Bloodyface down to 10. Like any main sticks, he's got double swipe to end the game.
And maybe spook Bloodyface into using the Mind Render Lucia when he doesn't even have Malagos in the hand.
Yeah.
But then what's his hand? I guess... Yeah, actually, because the thing is, the Alexstrasza doesn't have a good reactive line of play from Saiyan, right? Like, if he would play Mind Render Lucia, he wouldn't be able to respond to the Alexstrasza on board. He would have to use his own cards, like Shadow Word Ruin. Interesting. That is certainly an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, this way, if a big board of portals ever sticks, Alexstrasza is threatening lethal regardless. But honestly, if a big board of portals ever sticks, you're threatening lethal even without it. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But Saiyan appears that he just didn't want to be punished by like Shadow Word Ruin plus development because he didn't have the guaranteed lethal follow up from Alexstrasza.
I wonder.
Speaking of Alexstrasza, Dragon Queen Alexstrasza picked up for Bloodyface. I feel like a little too slow to use it now. Probably wants to do something a little more robust than just develop an 8/8. Although this might be the only turn he'll ever have to develop an 8/8.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those more interesting moments where, like, Bloodyface has to basically get the read on what his opponent's deck is currently holding.
Yeah.
Seems like he's going to go for the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, and Just Saiyan has the ability to push here with that Alexstrasza right back. And funny enough, because Bloodyface has 2 swipes in the hand, maybe that ends up compromising his ability to actually swap hands because he knows that his opponent will also have damage in the hand.
What to do?
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. Yeah, couldn't really see any other plays for Bloodyface there. Outside of like Zephyrsyn to Siphon Soul.
Right.
Which would not have been much development whatsoever. He could also have gone like Galakrond, which would have given him a layer of protection against Alexstrasza. Because he takes off 4 or 5 power.
Okay.
And that has to get through. There's some big dragons. Okay, there's Malagos.
I mean, it's a situation where Saiyan can also just slowly take its advantage. He has a big board. Bloodyface has to respond to this. Like, forget combo. This is just straight up tempo options. He's got like a lethal setup this way with 20 damage that he just needs to get. Bloodyface burns the Renew. Does he have to instead go for a board clear here? Bloodyface does have Zephyrus, right? But I think he was planning on holding that until he needs it definitively to clear the board or end the game. And this might be the situation he needs to do that.
Yeah, I think he needs to curate this for Shadow Madness.
Right.
So he'd go 1 drop. There's not a great way to do it, honestly. He just has to hope that Zephyrus is smart enough.
Magic is not a toy.
I don't know. Shadow Madness doesn't exactly offer him, like... I think maybe he just wants to Blizzard?
Okay, Zephyrus is smart
okay,
enough.
Shadow Madness. Yeah. Okay.
He
Sometimes, you know...
Yeah. You want to spend as
he's
much
not
mana as
super
possible.
reliable.
to like push them along the path. Oh, Written Words is not bad to clear off this 2-8. All right.
Right. Okay.
He's used so much of his
Germination.
burst damage. He's used a Moonfire. He's used both of his swipes. Actually, he's used both of his Moonfires, hasn't he? No, the first one was the one in the
saw him
opening
use
hand.
one.
Yeah. So Forest Warden Omu plus Germination, and then Alexstrasza, and then Lightning Bloom.
Oh.
Or this plus Swipe to
Is that
face.
enough to push through? Because he has the ability to... Nah, he doesn't have the ability to gain
Wait,
more
if he
mana
draws
beyond
Moonfire, it's still not. It's not enough damage. He could get a
Right.
Malygos from a Dream Portal.
that. Wait, he can at least remove the Skeletal Dragon that way. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was thinking like if he gets another Malygos, then he just like swipes face and
Right.
deals
Tries to push
12
damage
damage,
that way.
everything, 18 damage. It would have been lethal. Oh no, it wouldn't have been lethal. It would have been close though. It would have been 14 plus 9, or 14 plus 5, 19. But yeah, clears the board. Unfortunately, that's essentially an all-in push.
Yeah. And, I
And-
mean, bloodyface has it checked with a lot of AoE. Plague of Death here looks very appetizing, and it doesn't seem like Saiyan has the ability to deal with this.
Yeah, that's extra brutal for Saiyan because that's in Bloodyface's primary list. He doesn't even play a copy of Plague of Death. That's just the Onyx Mage Scribe coming in.
That's right.
Because Soul Mirror didn't really do much of that board because it was a lot of 4 attack plus, additional health minions, and
Right.
so, and now this overflow will start taking him further and further to fatigue because he still has a couple portals left in his deck. So it's not even actual.
Right.
What,
I
2
mean,
portals
that's kind of
left?
why bloodyface even felt comfortable in the first place extending as far as he did, right? He wouldn't want to necessarily... Oh, run. Onyx Mage Stripes comes to the hand.
Oh,
I don't think he would extend nearly as far as he would have if he didn't have the ability to clear afterwards anyways.
Wait a second, Dan. Gets the Proto Drake, gets some spell damage, and gets the Onyx Mage Scribe.
Okay. Build your own Malygos combo.
Oh no.
Not
Oh,
really.
no.
I'm biggin'. There's no minions in the deck. Oh, jeez.
Dreamway Guardians, though, I mean, that could keep him alive. Is that a Soul Mirror off the top?
Oh. Soul Mirror plus the Rush. The Room is a possibility. It looks like he's just going to go Shadowward Ruin, clear off some of this.
The Baron Stable Hand. Oh. One of the worst 7 drops.
Yeah, it just does nothing in this position.
Yeah. Now, Saiyan does have, like, Speaker Gidra Guardian Animals next turn. Even though, Guardian Animals just acting like a buff, a +7/+7 buff in that instance. So he can chew through everything on the board, most likely, and then push whatever damage he has left on board. Bloodface is not out of this yet, but, I mean, it's looking pretty grim for Saiyan because we can see Soul Mirror double swipe, so he should be able to clean up just about everything. Oh, yeah, and he's on a
this
clock.
is,
Takes 5 fatigue next turn, double swipe, that's 13. Yeah, he's only got 1 more turn, actually. I think. 2 more turns. Because of Hero
Right, he's
Power.
running out of resources, and I like that bloodyface is actually held on as well to his cards like Swipe and his Galakron just to see if he can have definitive removal. He's just on a pure fatigue plan. Is there any way for Saiyan to pull himself out here? He can go ahead and trade Dreamway, his Guardians, into his 1 health. He can also use his hero power. I guess he's kind of debating about Speaker Gidra and like how healthy he wants to keep Gidra, maybe?
I want to... Oh. Uh-oh. I want to win through Soul Mirror. I want to play around Soul Mirror, which means trade one of the Dreamway Guardians into the 4/1, Speaker Gidra Guardian Animals. No, there's no way to play player on Soul Mirror because the Speaker Gidra is going to have Rush on the other side.
All right, looks like we have a little bit of a reconnect situation going on, whereas the game has been paused. But rest assured, we'll just have the players reconnect. Either way, it was looking really bad for Saiyan because we know that bloodyface has double the removal covered, and he also has the burst, so he was on a 2-turn lethal no matter what. And I don't even think there's a way for him to randomly generate anything to potentially come back in that game. But we'll figure that out. And, it's kind of a situation where, like, Malagos Druid feels the pressure coming in from the Priest, right? Like, there isn't anything that Priest was doing that was really scary. It was just the fact they were holding so many cards, and it was that deep into the game that Saiyan had to use, like, Moonfire for tempo. As looks like we are back in the game. Saiyan counting damage as well. Like, is there any reason to maybe Alex Straza aggressively here? Push that extra 3, get that 8-8 on the board. What are the breakpoints that he has to think about? So the thought exercise is if he pushes with the Onyx Make Scribe and goes 6 and plays Alex Straza, the most aggressive he can be right now is put bloodyface to 9. Let's say bloodyface clears the board and heals. It's down to 11. Can he get there with just Speaker Gidra and that Wind Fury? It would have to survive a turn. I think that's really optimistic.
Yeah, it's incredibly optimistic. Oof. I like this because this means that if bloodyface were to play Soul Mirror, the Speaker Gidra dies by itself. So it can't trade over the Onyx Mage Scribe and then kill the Speaker Gidra.
Right.
Oh my gosh, he could have Apotheosis and then Soul Mirror. Oh my goodness.
That's actually a really big swing, and that... I mean, he knows the last card is Alex Straza plus a random spell, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty unusual, but it's a really good play from bloodyface.
Yeah.
And he also gains more lifesteal from the Dreamway Guardians, too. Saiyan completely checked in every category. He can try to play the Alex Straza from here, but he's banking on absolutely 0 removal from bloodyface, and we know that he's got it covered. So that's going to be game number 1. Over to the Priest.
Yep. Unless this last spell is Crystal Song Portal, from bloodyface's perspective. And then even then, he pretty much has minions checked because he has Galakron. So, there it is.
Yep, there it is. Bloodyface starts off with a 1-0 lead. Remember, this is best of 3 specialist. And so just needs to win one more for a date with Eddie in the winners finals, which both of these players are guaranteed anyways in the top 8 division. But of course, there is prize money, there is points and some bragging rights, and maybe just potentially put themselves in a better position, right? Because they're kind of competing in a way together and against each other by helping each other practice. But also, both these players are kind of free agents. You want to kind of put your best foot forward all the time, so that way people can pick you up and make you feel like they have the best type of player that they've invested in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know that bloodyface is a player who always wants to keep proving to himself, even that he's got what it takes. And Specialist is an interesting beast that bloodyface wants to conquer, because the only time in the past 2.5 years that bloodyface has struggled competitively was the one season of Grandmasters where we had Specialist the whole season. And when I talked with him, he was saying how he wasn't sure if there's something about Specialist that just doesn't mesh well with him as a player, if he just was slightly behind in the meta game or what. But one thing about going into this week and he playing the Swiss now in top 8 was that he wanted to kind of, quell those inner demons of, is Specialist the weakness of bloodyface? I think just by qualifying for top 8. He's proven that wrong, and proven that wrong to himself. But to take it a step further and win the week again would, be a slap in the face to Specialist. You
Sure.
can't defeat bloodyface. You may have defeated Dan and I week after week for 7 weeks of Bomb Warrior mirrors, but you will never defeat bloodyface.
Yeah. Bloodyface has kind of come around on. He was kind of talking about how the only format he didn't really feel like he truly understood was the 10 deck format. And, to be fair, it does seem like a pretty hard one. And a lot of people are kind of guessing on it in the last season. It does feel as if, specifically on Bloodyface's end, though, that he has a pretty good grasp on what's going on because the Priest is a deck that he really understands well. And so we'll see. We'll see how this next game goes. Saiyan really needs to get these next 2 wins. And remember, Saiyan's at 5 points really before heading into these matches, and we really want him to get as many points as possible for his top 8. He's the one who really needs to improve. So getting a win here, going up against the Turtle Mage, which is I think a matchup that he's much more open to than Priest, might be the key here.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
Starting off with Overgrowth and Overflow, it's a pretty solid combination of opening hands here. As we do have Bloodyface with the Wand Maker and a pretty decent curve. But, he's looking more than just a curve. He's looking for actual meaningfully developing tempo, or he's looking for very good value cards to try and punish the Druid the way he did last game, where Druid was out of cards and Bloodyface still had a dozen left in his deck. What just happened? He just mind visioned an Overgrowth? All right.
Oh, man.
Well, you tried, Saiyan. It was fun.
Yep. Oh,
sometimes it's just not in the cards.
Yeah, sometimes it just bees that way. Now Saiyan's the one playing reactive, and Bloodyface is going to be the one ramping up. That's funny.
It is kind of absurd, actually, with that Overgrowth that comes in, Saiyan immediately burying the hands into the face and just kind of recognizing Priest skipped their weakest part, which is their early game. Now they enter the late game Mana Crystal stage, and this is turn 4 coming up for Bloodyface.
Yep. Since his deck isn't designed to utilize ramp, there's not as good capitalization for ramp on his part, but what it does do is allow him better answers for once Saiyan uses his ramp. And maybe eventually he'll be able to play proactively. But one of the things to note here that I talked about a little bit earlier was the fact that Saiyan's not playing Lake Threshers in his primary deck. And he's playing his primary deck again because his secondary and tertiary decks are designed for faster things. So Bloodyface is not too worried about playing minions into Guardian Animals here. Because let's say Saiyan plays Guardian Animals, pulls 2 Twilight Runners. He attacks both Twilight Runners into the Cobalt Acolyte, or Cabal Acolyte. Bloodyface just cleans it up with Breath of the Infinite. So I like the read there, because normally in that situation, be like, I really don't want to play minions because they're just going to get, all my minions are just going to get eaten up by Lake Thresher, and my opponent's just going to get value. I'm going to have to use removal anyway, so I might as well save my minions. But in this situation, it's actually correct. You just play out your stuff. Oh, wow, okay. An Omu.
Okay. Yeah.
This early. And a Guardian Animal, so he's just going max tempo and doesn't want to be weak to that play that I just mentioned.
Time waits for no one.
Now it's weak to Soul Mirror, though.
Any kind of Guardian Animal play is usually susceptible to having Soul Mirror turn to tables.
Yeah.
But Noobsot Defender doesn't allow him to feel that way. He sticks something on the board, not to mention the Death Rattle Beast could favor Saiyan. But it does kind of turn itself into a situation where this could also completely reverse. Bloodyface might get 2 King Muklas, but Saiyan might get like Desert Hares. Or a Zixor, but Saiyan did get the Mukla too. Interesting.
Educated Elec. That card fascinates me.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual. The Elec, of course, is whenever spells play, this minion remembers it, and then when it dies, shuffles those spells into the deck. I don't think there's any particularly huge gains to be made from that card. Like bloodyface with an extra copy of Breath of the Infinite, like cool. Not really anything particularly good right now.
Yeah. Well, I guess the coin use it to his advantage and throw a dead coin in his deck.
That's true. You are introducing more dead draws with that coin. I kind of forgot that aspect.
Life and hope are worth fighting.
Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Saiyan set up that turn so he could like play Ysera Unleashed next turn or have the best opportunity to just play something big that was unanswered by bloodyface. And yeah.
Well, I mean, this was only possible because he overgrowth into 9 mana to be able to play the Dragon Queen and the Soul Mirror, right? We talked about keeping up with the ramp from their opponent.
Yeah.
This is exactly what Priest would want to do and exactly what Saiyan didn't want to see. Too much pressure coming his way. I think he might have to abandon his Alexstrasza line that he won and maybe consider going for this Ysera Unleashed. I guess he could Alexstrasza, go face with everything, and hope his opponent does not have the Mind Render. Because it is still so early in the game. Look how many cards bloodyface has in his deck. 22. Handful of them were shuffled in because of the Elec. Maybe the odds are in his favor if he wants to be aggressive.
My dream is your nightmare.
I think this is the safer play. I mean, the fun, cool swag play, I think, would be to Alexstrasza, given that we know what's in the hand, and maybe Saiyan could find a way. But if he's going to be playing cards like Overflow as well, that does kind of fight against what he's trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. I think no matter which way you slice that one, Saiyan's just worried about whatever these 1-mana dragons are, because he's going to have a turn where he has to react and not be able to maybe get as many portals as he wants to. So Murzond is just a 4/12, which could be quite difficult.
Yeah. So is Mind Flayer, but delayed. Man, Lazul very likely to pick up a very cheap spell. Okay, Lightning Bloom intrigues me because it allows bloodyface to really break certain turns that Saiyan's thinking about, which is, you know, not to mention that he's also out-tempoing Saiyan like crazy. There's no hard removal AoE available to the Druid outside of those big swipe turns. Yeah, forget that. Saiyan has to actually defensively react here, otherwise he's dead.
He's dead. Okay, let's see. What can he clear off? Double swipe.
I wonder.
I mean, double swipe clears off a lot.
Yeah, double swipe clears up a majority of this board with his hero power, but it's not like ideal. How much does he absolutely have to clear off? It's at 20 and there's 2 8/8, so I think he's gonna go ahead and trade this Ysera at least and maybe save 1 swipe.
So then he'll
maybe
go,
develop the Twilight Runner.
Yeah, or Innervate Overflow and get some portals. I don't know. You can Moonfire Innervate Overflow and then go. So he takes 3 more power off the board and still has hand space.
Yeah. I like that Innervate play, and I think that he's going to go ahead and hero power down the Mount Lazul. Good ordering. And just see what happens. He's a little bit late on it, so these Dream Portals will finish.
Before he's able to react. Nubasoth also could have come out via board space.
Right, we don't know how much he's going to be able to dig into his deck and hit a meaningful amount of dream portals.
You've got me fired up.
Oh!
Oh no!
Oh, wow.
The heavens quake and my brood breaks.
Wait, it's still going. Okay, that was pretty close to ideal for Saiyan in terms of the dream portal setup.
Yeah, and the Malagos too. That's not
Oh,
the
wow.
Mirzan will still allowed to play Shadowward Ruin because he did. Wait.
Because he played Lightning Bloom.
What is Elun's will?
So, if he Waves of Apathy... Oh, so he wants the Mirzan Wave of Apathy and then Tempo and just like push all face.
Yeah, because he also gets a swipe and a Lightning
Right.
Bloom. I think you can Wave of Apathy afterward. You want to let's take a look at what's happening here first.
Right.
Overflow. Wait, Zephyr Savage Roar? No, that's not enough. 13 plus 8, 21.
Yeah, gonna kill that Malagos as well. Good job by bloodyface.
My hand is too
And now Saiyan has no spell damage on the board. All these one-attack dragons looks once more like he is locked out. Oof.
Oh boy.
what to do.
He can Speaker Gidra, or Lightning Bloom Speaker Gidra Guardian Animals. That clears off the 2 8/8s. And then just clear the Bronze Explorer, push the rest faced, and then just isolate the Mind Flayer. You still have a big board that he has to deal with. I think that's the best play. Yeah, and then you have Alex Strausen next turn. If Bloodyface doesn't answer this, you have Alex Strausen next turn
Okay.
to push for lethal.
Right. It's optimistic, but maybe that's what you have to go for.
Wait. I was thinking you just leave up, you don't touch the Mind Flayer.
Time waits for no one.
Oh, does it not let you
Well,
cast Guardian Animals if you have full board? Is that what it is?
I think you can...
I thought it was green. But I'm trying to decide why he traded one of his minions in. If he wanted open board space in case of Zephyr's Frost Nova, Zephyr's Blizzard. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Either way, it seems like Saiyan's still in a position where he gets his board cleared and he's just pretty much out of his immediate threats and will have to redevelop. And I think it's with the Blade Face to see if he can avoid having to use Zephyrs here. That's pretty much what I think is on his mind.
Yeah. Shadowward Ruin leaves a 4/10, a 4/4, and a 3/5 on board.
And Holy Nova clears off even more.
Holy Nova clears off another 3. So
Does
you
he have
leave
a Wretched
8 power
Tutor
on
in the
board.
corner?
He does have a Wretched Tutor, but like Wretched Tutor, Shadowward Ruin is the same. Wretched Tutor, Holy Nova is the same. It would, if you didn't want to use Zephyrs here, he would have to Shadowward Ruin.
What is Elun's will?
He could also
Yeah,
like,
he has a Lightning Bloom as well. He could use the Holy Nova. Oh, no, never mind. His Lightning Bloom overloaded as well, so yeah.
Dream is your night.
I like it. Showing restraint. Doesn't need to overcommit. But now, Saiyan has the ability to go for the Alex Strausen line. I think that's his last out here. Yep.
I bring
does have some damage from hand. With Malagos still left in deck, Double Moonfire is 12.
Right.
So,
The final push here for Saiyan.
yeah. Looks like we're going to start with the Renew.
Doesn't want to take damage to Raise Dead right now. probably just another Holy Nova.
Yeah. Wretched
knows
Tutor,
about-
Holy
Yeah.
Nova, Lightning Bloom, Zephyrus, Radiance.
What is a loon's will?
Okay.
I don't know if it'd give you Radiance though.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to predict what Zephyrs will do with that situation.
13 health. You'd have to do it before you traded. Like if you Wretched Tutor, Holy Nova, and then before you make the trade with your Ysera, then go Lightning Bloom, Zephyrus, and then it gives you Radiance.
Right.
It looks like he's just going to go Zephyrus like Shadow or Death.
Oh, he's running out of time now.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, just gonna go ahead and just trade and
Lazul scheme, I
use
guess.
maybe the
but he's
Lazul scheme.
He's Malagos is.
How much? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So close.
Wait, the natural
There's no-
Malagos is still there, right? I'm not crazy.
What to do?
Because he got a Malagos from a Dream Portal, but he still has the
Yeah.
natural one in the deck.
I thought so.
So saying, Bloodyface was hoping that it wasn't there.
Yeah, I might be mistaken as well. I thought it was, but looks like Saiyan still doesn't have that damage either way. I think he still has to kind of ignore it and maybe just go for this Twilight Runner. The problem with the Twilight Runner is if they both draw, he's going to start taking fatigue damage, but I think in this situation he's desperate enough where he needs to just go for it. Bloodyface has his Galakrond and he has Zephyrus. Galakrond does gain a burst of HP, but he will be losing the ability to heal, which actually is kind of relevant with this much life remaining.
Alright, just trade Zephyr, Shadow, and Ruin. Wait. What is he doing?
What is a loon's will?
From here, I mean, he's kind of debating if he wants to just clear the board, right? Or freeze it, maybe? Because if he plays the Zephyrus, is there a way for him to... Like... Oh, he can Shadow Madness, right? That's probably the thing he wants to do here.
Shadow and Ruin?
Shadow Madness is probably more efficient. Flame Strike? I guess Flame Strike,
Flame
and then
Strike.
you can innervate and heal yourself. The heal doesn't actually... The heal does matter to a certain extent.
9 doesn't affect any breakpoints. Like, if he has Malagos, he kills you regardless of the heal. If he doesn't have Malagos, he doesn't kill you.
It is not yet your time.
Oh! So close. Still, just from damage from the hand.
What to do?
Maybe saying at this, if he does have Malagos, I think he might be incentivized to simply draw the next card with Breath of Dreams, and then set up for the kill that next turn, right? But I still think he might be a little bit off, because if Bloodyface gains armor through the Galakrond, he's going to go up to 13 if Saiyan Hero Powers the face.
Waits for no one.
So Saiyan needs to swipe now.
You need to swipe and hero power now, right?
Oh, he wants to draw the last portal.
Of cards.
He doesn't have to. He can
Termination.
just simply...
It is not yet your time.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
He can't do that. because he'll die. Oh,
Will
he can.
though? If
no,
he swaps,
no,
he just dumps his hand.
Yeah, he can. He can Galakrond and then Mind Render.
You think this is your time? It is mine.
Draws a card. Overgrowth. He's drawing a ton of cards here. Finds the coin.
Wait, what? He knows the cards that are left. He knows he's just dead.
Oh no, he let me boom in and Mind Render at the end.
Okay.
And then he can't actually kill him, right? Oh, wait, what?
No. Excuse me? Hello?
I think he may have forgotten about the Malagos.
Hello?
Oh boy.
He thought that the Malagos from the Dream Portal was the actual Malagos.
Oh boy, that's... I can't believe Saiyan won this game. Oh jeez. All right.
So
That was a giga throw.
A player that I will always give the benefit of the doubt. He is always a player that I will give the benefit of the doubt. And so when I saw that his last 4 turns were a little bit weird and he was playing a bit loose, like he gave himself 3 turns where a Malagos off the top would have killed him.
Right.
And there was ways that he could have played around it or could have played towards playing around it. That's why I second-guessed myself, and I was like, wait, there is a Malagos there, right? Because bloodyface is playing as if there is no Malagos left.
Yeah, that was
big yikes.
A big macro mistake from bloodyface. I think with the understanding that he had, I think he played well relative to he knows that he's most likely going to be able to survive, right? Because he was healing up to 11. Moonfire, double Moonfire and swipe is 6 damage. So he had to get past the taunt and then hero power. Actually, he was dead to that either way, right? Because there was not enough taunts. I think he was dead to both no Malagos and a Malagos line because he still couldn't deal with the fact that he could push
He was at
through.
11 at the end.
Right. Oh, because both of those Zaris had died. Or one of those Zaris had died.
Yeah, so he had no way to push 11 through.
Yeah, because of taunt.
Yeah, but I mean,
okay.
Malagos was
Still.
I don't know. This is just a rare mistake from bloodyface. We'll just put it that way. And Saiyan gets another life.
It happens even at the highest level, and if you actually go to bloodyface's Twitter and kind of follow him along with Swiss, he actually talks about how often he's throwing too, and this is a player that's considered to be one of the top players in the world at this point. I mean, not just, of course, being, the Titan on top of the Americas. And so, it happens, and you got to move forward. We've seen some pretty epic misplays in Hearthstone history. I would definitely say that's one of the lighter ones, but obviously still just equally costly because it costs him a game. It's different this time around because in... Specialists, you just kind of queue up again. In Conquest or Last Year's Standing, that kind of mistake can cost you the series because the matchups, the way they kind of line up, and you need to have specific decks get through or stay alive is a huge difference.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's bring this one back to square one.
Right.
Not a great opening for Saiyan. And a decent opening for bloodyface. Opportunities to find ramp with both Thoughtsteal and Madame Lazul. Animated Broomstick's a good way to get back in tempo, so it's not a way you lose.
Waits for no one.
All right, so no ramp to start things off here for Saiyan, and bloodyface might just find the ramp through a Thoughtsteal. He kind of does.
I mean, he's got some dragons in his deck.
Right.
He's got Cobalt Spellkin and Murazon and Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
right? Kind of
Picks
curious
those up,
if
he's
there's
cooking.
ever. Yeah, it'd be really sick actually to see him hit another ramp, but that mean 3 games in a row he's ramped earlier than the Druid player, which is just hilarious to me. Saying, I kind of wonder if there's any merit to playing Speak of Gidra here. It doesn't seem like he has like a spell to capitalize off of it on, but at the same time, we have seen some situations where Saiyan has too many cards in the hand. It just feels too weak to play Gidra in this position, I think.
Yeah.
The future is clear.
Oh, he wants a dragon, doesn't he? And look, see. Lightning Bloom, again, could have its utility use.
Yeah.
Whole lot of nothing, to be quite
Yeah.
honest. I guess you can Crystal Power and move on with your life and then try to just start building from turn 5.
This is especially awkward because, again, for the 3rd time this series I'll mention, Saiyan only plays 4 beasts. He has 3 of them in hand, and he has 2 guardian animals in his deck. So, I think you can do the math, and there's 2 7-mana cards in this deck that do next to nothing. One of them will do nothing. One of them will do not that much. Not 7 mana's worth.
Right.
So it's a brutal hand for multiple reasons outside of just the fact that there's no ramp. Even if he had ramp, he wouldn't even have a way to capitalize on it. And here, I mean, he could go Speaker Gidra and Crystal Power and just, have a 2/5 with Wind Fury on board, but I think that's too slow. I think, he just kind of needs to giddy up and try and accelerate this game any way he can.
Yeah, it's looking ugly so far. And Bloodyface can immediately answer it. Oh, wow, he finds a dragon!
Oh!
Once more.
Saiyan looks at the mana
ramps
crystal.
before.
Yep, sees the extra mana crystal.
So interesting to see a reversal like this where Priest is ramping before the Druid. Yeah, it doesn't feel so great, does it, huh? As a Druid player. Still no ramp.
He doesn't play anything here. Bloodyface can just go. Well, there's actually a lot of things he can do, but Cabal Acolyte Lazul scheme.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about what is the best possible scenario here for saying going to turn 6. And it seems like it's just dropping Teacher's Pet, which means that Speaker Gidra is going to still be kind of inactive. And like even if he picked up Innervate, he can't play the Innervate Guardian Animals and get that big power spike he's looking for. Ah, jeez, pretty bad turn here for Saiyan, just attacking and seeing nothing. Floating so many mana crystals.
Yeah.
Your mind is not your own.
Yep, as expected.
Yeah, the steal onto the Twilight Runner, and then the ability to just go ahead and play Apotheosis ahead of time to stop from killing it.
Oh,
and then that'll just be a tempo. This is just a tempo swing at this point.
Yeah, that's huge. All right. Play Teacher's Pet. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be it, right? There's no other way to like go about this turn in a reasonable manner here. It seems like Saiyan has to wait for his guardian animals, and like he can't just like keep holding cards in his hand this entire time. Feels bad is that he's just gonna get dunked by this Twilight Runner on the following turn.
Yeah.
And it feels bad, but I mean, sometimes the situation calls for you to make plays that are kind of suboptimal. You'll never get a chance to make optimal plays
For no one.
if you don't survive long enough to get there. Ugh, how ugly is this? Preemptively using the crystal power because he needs to dump hand space.
Yeah.
And
Pretty
from
bad.
here, just tempo with the Murazond.
And he just gets a 4-5.
The broomstick.
This is so sick.
He's
Oh no, he dealt
tempoing
2
out the
damage to
druid.
himself. And he draws 2 cards in the back of this and very likely pushes 9 damage. As long as this isn't a Mukla. Oh no, he pushes 9 damage even if it is a Mukla because he has the broomstick that also has rush. So, and now, Saiyan, he set up for an overflow turn. All the overflow does is like help Bloodyface kill him faster because he heals up the stuff that's damaged.
Yeah. This game feels super over to me. I don't even know what Saiyan can really get from this. He can certainly should try, right? Like try to draw, try to see what goes through, gets pulled, but like maybe playing the Nubasoth defender. But it's looking very, very grim. And how much would he look forward to a card like Thresher in this position, right? This is definitely one of those situations where deck building could end up having a situation where maybe Saiyan did have a comeback potential, but I totally understand that that's the reason why he's ended up getting here, right? You can argue it both ways. His deck building decisions is what's getting him to this point. Perhaps some of the deck building decisions is also limiting his ability to come back here. Yeah.
Dan, it hurts.
Time waits for no
15, 20 showing on the board. If he plays as a Nubasoth defender and Bloodyface has any possibility to get past it, then he's dead.
Yeah, well, like a mind render.
Yeah, or, I mean, Bloodyface has options. Volpair Scoundrel.
Yeah. A Wand Maker could get... Wand Maker could...
Yeah. I mean, he could probably just play
Holy
Temple
Smite.
Enforcer here and just play the straight-up tempo line.
Yeah. You can just draw cards here with the Twilight Runner. See what happens.
Right.
There's a lot still going on for him. He is... even Mind Render wouldn't be... Actually, Mind Render would still be lethal, but obviously he doesn't know that because he Innervate Moonfire. Innervate Swipe Moonfire. Oh, Shadow Madness is it.
That'll
do
you
it.
go. And that's going to be the game in the series. Saiyan tried really hard, but Bloodyface's creations won't be denied, and that's going to be a 2-1 victory for Bloodyface. Going to move on to play Eddie in the winners finals of Group B. It just seems like those two players every single week so far, for seasons now, seem to be just clashing at the finale. Will anybody ever really challenge these two, along with like Language Hacker and sometimes, like a fourth player enters the ring like Monsanto? It's going to be hard, but Saiyan and Monsanto will be playing in the lower bracket, which also means that there's going to be another priest for Saiyan to go up against, as we don't have a priest mirror yet, TJ.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's actually good for Saiyan because now he most likely will only have to play Priest to get out of the group because it's likely that Eddie will win. I say likely, but this next match that we're going to have, the winners match, is the kind of settling of a best of 3 between Eddie and Bloodyface for this week because they played each other twice throughout the Swiss. Eddie won once and Bloodyface won once. I think that Bloodyface, because of how much he practices with Eddie, knew that he was going to bring it, knows how strong Turtle Mage is against Priest, and has probably the best teched secondary deck to deal with Priest, to deal with Turtle Mage, that any other player, because he's so familiar with it. So if there is, even though I still think the Turtle Mage is incredibly favored, especially in Game 1, Bloodyface is the one player that's got the good enough techs to challenge it in Game 2 and 3.
Okay.
With secondary.
Well, we shall see, as this is going to be a clash once more of familiar faces. So we're going to take a few minutes, give Bloodyface an opportunity to rest, and when we come back, the winners finals of Group B here, week 3 of Hearthstone Grandmasters.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile.